Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. Today is Sunday, November the 9th, 2025. I wanted to come here and speak about this because there's a lot happening. Obviously, I always come here every day and tell you the same thing. But there's something that I believe is already have been put in place. And this, to me, is something that we should pay attention to and kind of keep it in the back of our head, just because this is an additional thing that they're trying to do. And this is regarding visas. And as we all know, there is a big um, there is a big operation going on regarding immigration, obviously, and we all know what's happening. It's been happening since January 19th, right? So right now, the latest thing is that they're trying to deny visas for people with chronic illnesses, right? So that's what I'm going to speak about today. Before I continue, thank you so much to everybody who is listening using Spotify, and everybody here watching the video on Spotify. Thank you so much for being here, and everybody who's watching the video right now on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. It really helps me as a creator. And also feel free to leave a comment if you have a comment about any of my videos, or if you have a question for me, you can always email me, JulissaDesigns.com. So here's another thing, right? I'm laughing because um, we need to pay attention to all of this stuff, because I feel like the more we just go along with the play, right? Meaning that there's nobody kind of saying, hold on, this is not right, right? And we shouldn't do things this way. They're just gonna continue on throwing all these laws at us and just continue on with the agenda, I guess you can say. And it's like this country, as we know, it was built in many parts by immigrants, right? People come, a lot of people, being an immigrant myself, I know a lot of people come here for better education, better, to get health care, and because I mean, you can get diagnosed with something in your foreign land, and looking for a second opinion, right? And having the best doctors here, having the best universities and doctors here, a lot of people make the effort to get a visa just to come here to get treatment, because because the great doctors that we have, the accessibility, and to get kind of like a second opinion for a more developed from a more developed country, obviously. And for them to say we're gonna deny visas for people with chronic illnesses is another thing. It's another thing that's taking away the whole history of this country. That's just my opinion. I don't understand how people can look at this and be like, yeah, that's right. Because they're only, in my opinion, the focus is only on the negative part. They're saying we don't want people coming here with chronic illnesses because they're gonna need medical care and things like this. But not everybody is like that, right? A lot of people come here with the full intention to pay the medical bills, right? A lot of people just come for that, for their treatment, with the insurance from a different country that they can probably use here too. And for this another aggressive thing being thrown at us, and say we're not gonna let people in that are obese or they have heart conditions and things like this, that tells you this is shaping up to be, this is my opinion, it seems to me like this whole thing is shaping up to be something else, right? The other day I watched Nancy Pelosi do an interview, and I think it was just yesterday that I saw this floating on TikTok, and she was demanding, kind of like doing a call to action to a lot of the evangelical pastors. And they're saying, how can they, she said something along the lines, I don't remember exactly what it was. She said, there's a lot, we can be doing more, right? Especially the Spanish evangelical pastor that maybe 8 months ago they were saying, we should go out and vote, we should make our voices heard. Yet, fast forward to where we are now and what has been going on for the past couple months. And it's like, do you realize that people are being taken away from their jobs, right? Their families are being separated. People are being washed down when they go pick up their kids from school. They get into car washes to get workers away from, from their family. Um, and there is such an aggressiveness, right? I also learned about another situation that happened of a person who was detained and never sent back to their country, right? It was just detained, never sent back. And then when they finally decided to send him back to his country, the guy was transported in a medical plane, I guess you can say, because he was in a vegetarian state, vegetal state, or something like this. And the family is speaking out now, and they were saying, maybe I'll do a video about it. They were saying how they couldn't believe that the brother, who is always into sports and always, very active running and very looking forward to life, when he was on this detention center, there was a period of time where he said they would tell him he doesn't want to speak to you anymore. And the family said, wait, what? And they're like, oh no, he said he doesn't want to take any phone calls anymore. And then there was never an update about his health condition. And then when they finally decided to send him back, right, they sent him in a medical plane. And it's like, what is going on, right? If you're detaining people because you're saying they're gonna leave the country because they're here legally or whatever, why not follow through fully fast, right? Why have this holding place, and what's going on in this holding place, right? And there's a lot of things that are happening, and I do believe and I do agree with in this point with what Nancy Pelosi was saying, that she is calling out evangelical pastors to speak up more. Because, like I said, 8 months ago, they were, a little bit slowly, a little bit, you could tell watching some live streams from different churches, you could hear the political talk coming into the churches, right? And this whole idea, go and exercise your vote and this and the other. But now, when we see this craziness going on, especially with the raids that have been happening and the food thing, right? Everybody's just like, oh, we can, we're not gonna go there, or we're not gonna say anything about that. That's very, it's an eye opener. And then the thing with the visas, which I'm gonna speak to you guys about, is this: immigrants with health conditions may be denied visas under the new administration guidance. And this was just done November 6th, right? So about 3 days ago. Foreigners seeking visas to live in the U.S. might be rejected if they have certain medical conditions, including diabetes or obesity, under a Thursday directive from the administration. The guidance issued in a State Department was sent to an embassy and consular officials and examined by the Health News. Directs visa officers to deem applicants ineligible to enter this country for several new reasons, including age or the likelihood that they might rely on public benefits. Right? So here's the thing with that, right? They just say age too. Like, let's just say, right, you have a family member that you're trying to bring to stay. You finally become a citizen. You're trying to get your family member, your grandma, your mom, to come and live with you. You have been working your life basically to save that money, to have a home, to finally bring your family over. And they're gonna say, hold on a second, that she's too old to be here, or this person is too, she's obese, or she has a heart condition. She cannot come and live with you. Even though, like, I know a lot of, when you do immigration applications, you tend to, they always ask, like, who's going to be supporting you as you stay here. And when I went through this whole process, when I was very young, right, there was also like, I remember going to a doctors and getting examinations and vaccines and things like this. I don't know if they do that now. This was a long time ago. But for them to say that to a family that has been waiting to finally get their parents over here, let's just say, like, how do you present that to a family that has been doing all they can just to finally, because I mean, I think it's called doing a visa for a family member overseas or something. It could take years, right? I don't know how the process is right now. Sometimes, well, I think I heard some processes were they were no longer doing applications and things like this for the moment, right? But it could take years. Imagine finally getting to that point after paying lawyers and going through this whole, preparing the place for your loved one to come here finally. They're gonna get denied based on that. That to me is just crazy. And some people will look at this and say, like, yeah, that's right, because they're going to come here and get public assistance, and then they're going to end up in the hospital taking beds from people that actually live here and pay taxes. Because there's no like, hold on a second, let's read this again and really pay attention to what's happening here. Like, it's like saying that everybody who's being detained right now they were taking jobs away from people that actually want to work, right? It's this talk that you hear that it makes you question a lot of things, right? Um, while assessing the health of potential immigrants has been part of the visa application process, that's what I was telling you guys, for many years, including screening for communicable diseases like TB and obtaining vaccine history. Experts say the new guidance really expands the list of medical conditions to be considered and give visa officers more power to make decisions about immigration based on application health status. Right? So it's saying here that it's giving the power, it's giving this power to officers to make decisions based on the health status of the applicant, right? That also can be questionable because not everybody that has, let's just say, diabetes is a overweight person, right? There are kids that are born with diabetes. That's things that people don't speak about enough, right? There are people who have other diseases that are not visible because they look healthy from the outside, right? But somebody might see somebody in a plane and say, or they might get stopped at the airport and say, how can this person have a visa? Look what she looks like, right? And it could be a fully legally obtained visa, but because now here's another thing, we're going to be looking just on the outside, it's going to make that person go through the struggle of being stopped everywhere, going through the whole process of coming here because she doesn't look like she should have gotten that visa. So it's going to put out a big question mark. And maybe I'm looking too much into this, but because of we see everything that's happening already, right? That people are being detained. This is not something that I'm making up. This is stuff that's being reported. Things that are being people who are being detained who are legally here, right? Being detained based on whatever, right? I don't want to go into that, but it's very clear what's happening. It's gonna create people to start this judgment, right, by just what people look like, right? And here's another example how that can be a danger, right? And probably will put people in danger too, right? So it's just, it makes you wonder where we head. I mean, they want to do a press conference like they did 2 days ago, huge press conference about the new weight loss thing, and then one of the people there, right, completely passes out in front of them, right? And the other one that's in charge of everything basically looks like he needs to like take a break from the whole thing, right? And it's almost like it's all falling like in their own faces. I don't even know like how to describe it because they're like, oh no, they so focus on just that part, right? And I understand that it can lead to a lot of diseases what they were talking about, but then you have another person standing right next to you in this committee completely passing out in front of people, right? So right there are other things that need to be also be speaking about, and maybe more medication needs to be more accessible to a lot of people, more screenings and things like this. And it's just, they have this tunnel vision. That's what it seems like. It's a tunnel vision. The whole thing with the raids that are happening is almost like this whole attack, or this aggressive approach to just reach out to people, that look like me, I guess you can say, right? And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from here. And it doesn't take too long for you to see it. Once you start paying attention to everything that's being reported, like things that are being and it's just not one video, guys. There's so many videos that are being posted. It's like every day, every second, there's another thing. And look what happened to this family, right? Waiting to pick up their kids from school. Look what happened to the mom. Look what happened to this man who went to get his paperwork in order. Look what happened to him, right? So it's just, I don't know. We gotta pray, guys. We just gotta pray, continue to pray. But the new guidance goes further, emphasizing that chronic diseases like chronic diseases should be considered, said Sophia Genovese, an immigration lawyer at Georgetown University. She also noted that the language of the directive encouraged visa officers and doctors who examine people seeking to immigrate to speculate on the cost of applicants' medical care and the ability to get employment here, considering their medical history. So wow, I feel like this could also lead to like the way people, like they just say here, because here it's almost like they're gonna start doing this to people who want to come to this country, right? And if they see that it's effective, right, that people, well, they don't live here, so like who cares, right? Then they're gonna start. Oh yeah, now the same process that we use to screen people that come to this country, they're gonna start probably using like big corporations to do the same, and then from there, right, what can happen? So it's just quite, it's quite interesting, all of this. But this happened, like I said, November 6th, right, 3 days ago, and I just heard about it yesterday. So I haven't heard any news, anybody like really talking about it. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. Is, we'll see what comes out of this. Thank you so much to everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.